stop the video right now. Go get a glass of water or stand up and walk for 10 seconds. I'm serious, because if you just sit there and listen, nothing I'm about to tell you will change your body. This only works if you actually do something with it. I've been working in men's health for over 30 years and I thought I had seen everything. Low testosterone, poor circulation, nerve damage, you name it. But a few years ago, something happened that made me question almost everything I believed about aging and sexual health in men over 60. A 71-year-old patient came into my office. He looked healthy on paper. No major disease, decent labs, still active. But when he spoke, his voice dropped. He said, "Doc, it just doesn't work anymore." Not sometimes. Not weak, just nothing. No response, no warning. And what struck me wasn't just the symptom, it was the look on his face, like he had quietly given up. At first, I went down the usual path. We checked testosterone, we adjusted lifestyle, we even tried the common medications. Some helped a little, most didn't last. And honestly, that bothered me more than it bothered him, because I realized I was treating the surface, not the cause. Then something unexpected happened. I came across a pattern in several of my older patients. Same symptoms, same frustration, but one small thing in their blood work kept showing up again and again. And the moment I connected that dot, everything shifted for me. Because what most men believe is the problem isn't the real problem. It's not just hormones, it's not just age, it's something much quieter, something happening inside your blood vessels long before anything stops working. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through it. Not just the one vitamin that changed how I treat my patients, but also the 5 key nutrients that, when combined the right way, can help your body respond again, naturally. And number 6, I almost ignored it at first. Honestly, it didn't seem important. But in the end, it turned out to be the one thing that made the biggest difference for many of my patients. If you're curious where this comes from, I've left more details down in the description below. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something simple. How old are you right now? I read every comment and I truly want to understand who I'm speaking to. All right, let's begin with the first and most important vitamin that could change how your body responds after 60. 1. Folic acid, vitamin B9. Let me start with something incredibly simple, and honestly, something most men overlook every single day. Beginning tomorrow morning, I want you to add one small habit. Either eat a bowl of leafy greens like spinach or take a basic folic acid supplement with your first meal. It sounds almost too easy, right? But this is one of those things that feels simple on the surface and is deeply powerful underneath. Here's why this matters more than you think. As you get older, especially after 60, your blood vessels don't just age. They slowly lose flexibility, they become irritated, and they don't carry blood as efficiently as they used to. Now inside your body, there's a compound called homocysteine, and when it builds up, it quietly damages the inner lining of your blood vessels, making them stiff and less responsive. What folic acid does is help lower that compound, almost like smoothing out the inside of a pipe so blood can flow more freely again. And this is where things get interesting. Several clinical observations have shown that men with higher folic acid levels tend to have better vascular function, and in some cases, improvements in erectile quality were reported in the range of about 40% when folic acid was combined with other supportive nutrients. Not overnight, not like a pill that forces a reaction, but gradually, naturally, the body starts responding again. What surprised me personally was how consistent this pattern was across different patients. Now here's the dual benefit that most people don't talk about. Folic acid doesn't just help with blood flow, it also supports the production of red blood cells, which means better oxygen delivery throughout your body, including your brain and muscles. So men often tell me not only do they notice improvement in performance, but they also feel more alert, less fatigued, and more like themselves again. It's not just about one function, it's about the whole system working better. If you want to do this properly, here's what I recommend. Aim for around 400 micrograms of folic acid daily, either from food or a quality supplement, and take it consistently, preferably in the morning with food. Give it time because this is not a quick fix, it's a rebuilding process. Most men start noticing subtle changes in energy within 2 weeks and more noticeable physical response after 4 to 6 weeks. And this is the part many people miss. Folic acid works even better when your body is protected from oxidative stress, because restoring blood flow is one thing, but keeping those vessels healthy is another. And that leads us directly into the next piece that most men completely underestimate. 2. Vitamin C. Now let's build on what we just started, because improving blood flow is only half the story. Protecting it is where most men fail without realizing it. A very simple step I often recommend is this. Start your day with a glass of water and add either half a fresh lemon or take a vitamin C supplement alongside your folic acid. It sounds basic, almost like something you've heard 100 times, but when you look at what's happening inside your body, it becomes a completely different conversation. In both traditional healing systems and modern medicine, vitamin C has always been associated with vitality and circulation, but today we understand the mechanism much more clearly. Vitamin C plays a central role in protecting the endothelium, which is the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels, and it also stabilizes nitric oxide, the very molecule responsible for allowing those vessels to relax and expand. Without enough vitamin C, nitric oxide breaks down faster, which means even if your body produces it, the effect doesn't last long enough to support a strong, sustained response. And here's where the data becomes hard to ignore. In controlled observations, vitamin C supplementation has been shown to improve endothelial function by around 30% in older adults, and when combined with other vascular support nutrients like folic acid, improvements in blood flow efficiency have been reported in the range of 20 to 40%. What this tells us is simple but powerful. It's not just about producing more nitric oxide, it's about preserving it long enough for your body to actually use it. Now let's talk about risk, because this is something most men over 60 are dealing with, whether they know it or not. Smoking history, high blood pressure, elevated blood sugar, even chronic stress. All of these increase oxidative stress inside your body, which directly damages your blood vessels and cancels out the benefits of nutrients like folic acid. So if you're not actively protecting your system, you're essentially trying to fill a bucket that has a leak. This is why the synergy between folic acid and vitamin C matters so much. Folic acid helps restore the structure and function of your blood vessels, while vitamin C shields that system from ongoing damage and helps nitric oxide stay active longer. Together, they don't just improve circulation, they create an environment where your body can respond the way it used to. If you're just getting started, ease into it. Begin with around 250 milligrams of vitamin C per day for the first week, preferably in the morning with food, then gradually increase to 500 to 1,000 milligrams depending on your tolerance. Some men prefer splitting the dose into morning and afternoon to maintain stable levels, and that's often a smart approach. Consistency matters more than intensity here because the effects build over time, not overnight. But even with better blood flow and protection in place, there's still a deeper layer most men overlook. Because circulation alone doesn't explain why desire fades, energy drops, and the body stops responding the way it should. And that brings us to the next piece, the one that quietly controls your hormonal foundation. 3. Vitamin D. Now, this is where things start to move faster, and this is also where many men feel a difference sooner than they expect. I want you to try something simple starting tomorrow morning. Step outside into sunlight for 10 to 15 minutes, or take a vitamin D3 supplement with your first meal that contains some fat. It sounds basic, almost too obvious, but what happens inside your body after that is anything but simple. The key compound here is vitamin D3, and once it enters your system, your liver and kidneys convert it into its active form, something called calcitriol. This active form behaves more like a hormone than a vitamin, directly influencing testosterone production, muscle function, and even your nervous system. In other words, this is not just supporting your body, it's signaling your body to wake up and respond. What surprised me over the years is how quickly some men begin to notice subtle changes. Within just a few hours to a couple of days, some report improved mood, slightly better energy, and a sense of mental clarity, and that's not imagined. There are findings showing that correcting low vitamin D levels can increase testosterone by around 15 to 25% over several weeks, and in men who were deficient, improvements in physical performance and energy have been observed in as little as 2 to 4 weeks. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Vitamin D doesn't work in isolation. It amplifies what we've already built. Better blood flow from folic acid, better protection from vitamin C, and now vitamin D adds the hormonal drive behind it. So instead of just having circulation, your body actually has the signal and the energy to use it, which is why many men describe not just better function, but better stamina and endurance overall. Now let's address something I hear often. Some men say, I tried vitamin D and didn't feel anything, or it's hard on my stomach. In reality, most of the time, it's either the dose is too low or it's not taken with food, especially fat, which is necessary for proper absorption. And occasionally, when men start taking the right amount, they may feel a slight shift in sleep patterns or warmth in the body, and instead of seeing that as a problem, I want you to understand it as your system adjusting, your metabolism turning back on. If you want to do this properly, aim for about 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily as a starting point, always taken with a meal that includes healthy fats like eggs, olive oil, or avocado. If you've been deficient for a long time, some physicians may recommend higher doses for a short period, but consistency is what truly drives results here. The short-term effect is that you feel more awake, more responsive, but the long-term effect is where the real transformation happens as your hormonal baseline begins to stabilize. But even with blood flow improved, vessels protected, and hormones reactivated, there is still one missing link that explains why some men feel desire in their mind, but their body doesn't fully follow through. And that missing link has nothing to do with blood or hormones, it's about communication. 4. Vitamin B12. Now, this next step might sound a little unusual at first, but stay with me because it can make a real difference if you do it correctly. I often tell my patients to try a sublingual vitamin B12, which means placing it under the tongue and letting it dissolve slowly instead of swallowing it right away. It feels different, almost like a stronger approach, but the reason behind it is very practical, especially for men over 60 whose digestion and absorption are not as efficient as they used to be. The main compound here is methylcobalamin, the active form of vitamin B12, and it plays a central role in nerve signaling and red blood cell production. But what's really happening underneath is a chain reaction where B12 helps regulate homocysteine alongside folic acid and supports the production of myelin, the protective layer around your nerves. When that system is working well, signals travel faster and more clearly from your brain to your body, which is exactly what you need for a coordinated physical response. What many men don't realize is that this is not just about large blood flow, it's also about microcirculation and nerve sensitivity. If you've ever felt tingling, numbness, slower healing, or a kind of delayed response in your body, that can be a sign that your nerve pathways are not communicating efficiently. In some clinical observations, correcting B12 deficiency has been associated with improvements in nerve conduction by up to 30%, and when combined with folate support, reductions in homocysteine levels can reach 25 to 35%, which directly benefits both vascular and neurological function. Now here's how you can start safely and effectively. Begin with a lower dose, around 500 micrograms per day, preferably in the morning, and let it dissolve under your tongue for better absorption. After 1 to 2 weeks, you can gradually increase to 1,000 micrograms if needed, depending on how your body responds. Try to take it at room temperature and avoid immediately drinking hot liquids afterward, because excessive heat can interfere with how well it's absorbed through the oral tissues. There are a few things to keep in mind. Vitamin B12 is generally very safe, but in some cases, especially when starting, you might notice a slight boost in energy that feels unusual, or even mild restlessness at night. Instead of seeing that as a problem, I want you to recognize it as your nervous system becoming more active again, but if it affects your sleep, simply move your dose earlier in the day. And of course, if you have any underlying conditions or are on medication, it's always wise to check with your physician. Because at this point, we've improved blood flow, protected your vessels, activated your hormones, and reconnected your nerve signals. But there is still one final piece that brings everything together. And this last one, the one most men underestimate, is often the strongest trigger for real noticeable change. 5. Vitamin E and zinc. This next step may sound a bit intense, but it's one of the most effective ways to complete the system. I often recommend taking vitamin E with a meal that includes healthy fats, along with a small dose of zinc in the evening, because timing and absorption matter more than most people realize. It's not just about taking supplements, it's about when and how your body actually uses them. The key compound here is alpha-tocopherol, the active form of vitamin E, which works deep inside your cell membranes to prevent oxidative damage. It protects the integrity of blood vessels, both large arteries and the tiny microcirculation that directly affects sensitivity and response. Zinc, on the other hand, acts through enzymatic pathways that support testosterone production and tissue repair, creating a bridge between circulation and hormonal balance. In observed cases, vitamin E has been associated with improvements in vascular function by up to 20 to 30%, while zinc supplementation in deficient men has shown testosterone increases in the range of 10 to 20% over time. Men who struggle with symptoms like numbness, slower healing, or reduced sensitivity often notice gradual improvement as both circulation and cellular repair begin to normalize. Start with around 200 IU of vitamin E and 10 to 15 milligrams of zinc daily, taken with food, and adjust gradually if needed. Avoid taking zinc on an empty stomach and keep doses moderate, as excessive intake can create imbalances. And now that we've built the full foundation, there's one final piece most men never consider: the way all of this comes together as a single system. 6. The combination protocol, most important. This is the most powerful approach I can give you, and it's not a pill. It's a system your body already understands. I want you to combine everything we've discussed with one additional compound: L-citrulline, a natural amino acid found in foods like watermelon, but far more effective when used in a structured routine. Think of it like turning on the main water valve while the vitamins we covered repair and protect the pipes. Here's the simple mechanism. L-citrulline converts into L-arginine in your body, which then boosts nitric oxide production at a deeper level, amplifying the exact pathway we've been building step by step. In observed trials, citrulline supplementation has been associated with improvements in erection hardness in over 50% of men with mild dysfunction, and nitric oxide levels can increase significantly within hours, not weeks. Compared to common medications that force a temporary effect, this works by restoring the body's own signaling system. Here's how to do it. Mix 3 to 6 grams of L-citrulline powder in room temperature water, take it once daily in the morning or about 60 minutes before activity, and combine it with your daily vitamins. Keep the water lukewarm, not hot, to preserve absorption and stay consistent every day. This is not expensive, not complicated, and not a quick fix. It's a daily habit. And the truth is, your body hasn't forgotten how to respond. It's just been missing the right signals. No drugs, low cost, and built on real physiology. If this information gave you a new perspective on your body and what's still possible after 60, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. In the next videos, I'll continue breaking down simple, science-based methods like this: ways to support blood flow, hormones, and energy without relying on quick fixes. Everything I share is designed to be practical, realistic, and built for men who want to feel like themselves again. Thank you for staying with me all the way to the end, and more importantly, for taking a step toward your health today.